Well, here it is. Martin Luther was part of a larger movement that sought to reform the church. Though he was instrumental in its momentum, he was its most famous figure. He could not have done it alone. Other reformers, like you saw on there, predated Luther, including some who were excommunicated, which means they were kicked out of the church, or killed for their efforts. Matter of fact, there's only a few of you that were here for worship in the psalm reading today. So you can look at this. There's a part where it talks about the wild boar. Martin Luther's papal excommunication letter from the Pope actually said that Martin Luther was a wild boar. He used that scripture. So today we also had that in there. All right, so the one that they mentioned 100 years earlier that died at the stake, Jan Hus. And he'd have followers called Hussites. And there was a whole group of them. Actually, the more moderate version of the Hussites are in the Moravian Church. And if you look on the ELCA website, that's our main body of who we are. We actually have table communion with Hussites that are part of the Moravian Church. And fascinating that Tabor, see, the Hussites were Czechoslovakian, like our city over here, Tabor. And even though the Hutterites are different than the Hussites, it's fascinating that they both have similar backgrounds. The Roman Catholic Church was essentially the only church in Western Europe. Citizens generally didn't have the freedom to choose their own religious practices within Christianity, partly because of the fact that they couldn't read. 2, they didn't have Bibles. So could you think if you never had a Bible? And everybody just, whoever it was, it'd be me, I'd say, this is what you have to believe. And typically, that's what everybody did. So they said if you need to be saved, you would have to crawl on your knees 500 yards through pig slop. You'd have to crawl 500 yards through pig slop because nobody could read. But that's not the way. Martin Luther actually translated the Old and New Testaments into German, which is amazing, with the help of Philip Melanchthon. But we're talking about all those different things. I want to tell you other famous reformers: John Calvin, Huldrych Zwingli, John Knox, William Tyndale, and Andreas Karlstadt. And Karlstadt was actually a contemporary of Martin Luther, and they did not get along. The Reformation was predominantly a local movement implemented by rebellious parish priests fed up with the church hierarchy, which focused on fortune over faith and sovereignty over souls. Strangely, 50 years after Luther died, the Roman Catholic Church had a Reformation. But it took a long time for them to admit that they were wrong. So in 1999, any of you know this? 1999, the ELCA, which we're a part of, had a joint declaration of justification with the Roman Catholic Church on October 31st, 1999. And it's part of our history, so we actually agree. So they actually confessed. They said, yep, it's not about works. It's not about paying your money. It's about God's grace. So it's interesting. Reform is always happening. And I'd ask you, what do you see that needs to change as a Christian? And then, do you see yourself as a reformer or a traditionalist? Any questions? No questions? Are you guys awake? Is it just because we got masks on that I can't tell if you're sleeping or drooling right now? So does this make sense? Okay. I guess we're done. Unless Pam has something. Pam, do you have anything? All right. So then you can go off to your classes. Thank you for being here tonight. How are y'all doing? Good to see you. How's it going? All right.